Can I have a motion to move the minutes to the next meeting?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to move that we move the reading of the minutes to the next meeting in the new Toastmaster year.
We have a second. Second. Second that we move the minutes, the reading of the minutes into the next Toastmasters here. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Send us to the back of the room. Gary. Yes, now is the time to all been waiting for. Time that all the nervous energies actually come to the stage and present. This is what we've been practicing for the past few weeks, and now it's time to really see how much growth we've had. Now I'll begin this contest. Now, so the first contest we're going to have is going to be the table topics contest. Purpose of the table topics contest is to provide an opportunity to learn by observing proficient speakers who have benefited from their Toastmasters training, recognize the best as an encouragement to all. Please welcome our Chief Judge, Distinguished Toastmaster, Nestor Gomber, to provide a brief overview of rules of the table topics contest.
The table topics contest follows all the rules outlined in the general rules section of the current speech contest rulebook. It has been confirmed that all contestants are eligible and have been briefed by me, and all judges have been confirmed to be qualified and eligible to participate in this contest. The Sergeant at Arms is instructed to allow no one in or out of the room once the contest has begun, until the class contestant has spoken. All contestants shall receive the same topic, which shall be of a general nature. The topic is selected by the contest chair or designee. The contestants will receive no advanced knowledge of the topic until the moment they are introduced by the contest master. Contestants may not use digital or other devices during the contest to gain any unfair advantage. When the contest begins, all contestants except for the first contestant shall be escorted to a waiting room by the Sergeant at Arms and will remain there until it is their turn to speak. The contest master will introduce each contestant by announcing their name, the topic, and again the contestant's name. This will be the contestant's signal to begin. There will be 1 minute of silence between contestants while the judges complete their ballots, and the next contestant returns to the room. Contestants have 5 minutes from the time their number is called to return to the contest room and be acknowledged by the contest master. After 5 minutes, the chief judge will announce that the contestant has forfeited their turn and the contest will continue with the next contestant. All speeches delivered by contestants must conform to the timing guidelines for the contest. The time for the speeches is 1 to 2 minutes. Any contestant speaking for less than 1 minute or for more than 2 minutes and 30 seconds will be disqualified. Timer, please show the timing lights and give the sequence. Green at 1 minute. Yellow at 1 minute and 30 seconds. And red at 2 minutes. This will stay up until the contestant has finished speaking, and no notice shall be given should the contestant go over time. Timing starts with the first word uttered, or when the contestant uses any form of verbal or non-verbal communication with the audience. Let the contest begin, Mr. Contest Chair.
Thank you, Chief Judge Barbara. Contestants have already drawn their speaking positions. The speaking order is as follows. Speaker number one, Sharia Sands. Speaker number two, Tatiana of Bristol. Speaker number three, Alex Pearson. Speaker number four, Madeline Archer. Speaker number five, Ravonna Carey. Speaker number six, Cynthia Paul. Speaker number seven, Tamara Evans. Once more, speaker number one, Sharia Sands. Speaker number two, Tatiana Bristol. Speaker number three, Alex Pearson. Speaker number four, Madeline Archer. Speaker number five, Ravonna Carey. Speaker number six, Cynthia Paul. And speaker number seven, Tamara Evans. All right, the time is ready. At this time, all contestants except the first will go into the waiting room under the supervision of our Sergeant at Arms. One. Now, speaker number one. No. Keep that one. Real science. Who's not real science? Tell us about a time you ran towards something instead of away from it. Tell us about a time you ran towards something instead of away from it. Toastmaster Sharia Science.
Life, there are times when you have to go. There are times when you have to stop, think. There are times when you have to consider the different art. Growing up, I wasn't always smartest in the room. I had times where I didn't know what was going on. As life continued on for me, I sometimes would use my past as an excuse. But it came a point where I had to make a decision. I had to learn that success, for me to enter into success, I have to choose right. With that, I found the best love of my life, which is Jesus Christ. That is who I am. That is something that I always run to now. I've learned that this being my safe space, I can always count on him. Thank you.
We'll now have 1 minute while the judge marks their ballots. Simon, please give me the red signal at the 1 minute mark. For the next contestant, Tatiana Abrista. Tatiana Abrista. Tell us about a time you ran towards something instead of away from it. Tell us a time you ran towards something instead of away from it. Tatiana Abrista.
Time when I ran towards something instead of away was I told a story, I think it was 2 weeks ago, so I'll tell it again. It was when I moved from Freeport to Nassau. I always knew that Nassau had many opportunities, but as we all know, that Nassau is very much known for its violence. So a lot of persons in Freeport are comforted by the small community of everybody knowing everyone. So moving to Nassau, it was quite different. Before I moved to Nassau, I came to visit and I decided that this looks like a wonderful place. It has a lot of opportunities. And I don't think the persons here actually appreciate the opportunities that Nassau brings. It has a lot of opportunities when it comes to going out, when it comes to networking, when it comes to meeting people, and also being at Cape Bahamas. It has a lot of opportunities when it comes to business and skill building, and also this is the first time I've ever been in a business where maybe then you had to go to conferences. So I am so nervous right now. And this is also letting me that I had to come here today to speak at Toastmasters and also spread my wings and fly, because if I was in Freeport, I would have never done it. And running towards NASA led me to run towards Kilbach, led me to run towards Toastmasters.
The time will get 1 minute on clock, please. Okay, contestant number 3, Alex Pearson. Alex Pearson, tell us about a time you ran towards something instead of away from it. Tell us about a time you ran towards something instead of away from it. Alex Pearson.
The walls of our imagination is darker than reality. I always loved that line, even though I never really understood it until 2023. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, Mr. Contest Chair. This was a bit after COVID-19 when the world was reopening and everybody was still a bit frantic. Will it close again? Will the vaccine cause me any harm? And I had decided to open up a storefront location. I sat in my bedroom for 2 days straight, contemplating if this is what I want to do or if I want to go back to working a 9-to-5 job. And in my head, I had told myself every reason why I shouldn't. And then I had a conversation with my best friend. And she asked, what are you so afraid of? The fail was hell. It wasn't real life. And after my business became more successful, I realized what the quote really meant. The woes of your imagination is darker than reality. I was running from myself. And when I finally gave in to my purpose, success followed. So fellow Toastmasters and guests, whenever you are afraid to do something, whenever you have second thoughts about your purpose, I want you to lock in and run straight towards it. Don't look back. Don't be Lot's wife.
Time for 1 minute on the clock, please. So starting now, to let the guests answer. Okay, we'll have contestants number 4, Madeline Archer. Contestant number 4, Madeline Archer. Tell us about a time you ran towards something instead of away from it. Tell us about a time you ran towards something instead of away from it. Madeline Archer.
A time that I ran towards something rather than running away from it. It seems to be the story of my life. I'm always running into something because I believe I can conquer it all. Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening. I love to be able to run into something knowing that no matter what it is, no matter what I am facing, I will always win. See, I believe that I was born to win. People talk about L's. I consider every L as not a loss, but as a learning experience. Because no matter what I face, no matter what I run towards, I always come out with a victory. Even if I don't get the desired result, I will leave with the experience. The experience knowing that I ran towards it and I gave it my best. I never give up. I never ever give up. Never have, never will. I was born to conquer. I was born to win. I'm just living up Every day, I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I go to the gym, and it's my desire to lift the heaviest weight because what I lived yesterday, I want to lift heavier today. I want to encourage you. As a matter of fact, let me take that back. I want to admonish you that as you run towards your life goals, the mission, you can conquer it. You have the ability to win. It's within you. Each and every one of us was born with the gift, talents, and ability. Tonight, when that challenge arises again, don't run away from it, run towards it, because you were born to win. Good evening.
Thank you. We'll now have contestants number 5, Ron and Gary. Ron and Gary, tell us about a time you ran towards something instead of away from it. Tell us about a time you ran towards something instead of away from it. Ron and Gary.
I do recall a time when I ran towards something that was running away from me. And if I'm honest, this one was hard. I always had a fear of public speaking. I ran away from it. But for some reason, not speaking up the song. I was always placed in a position where I had to step up. I had to lead. I had to guide. I had to open my mouth and speak. So for me, the turning point was this year actually, when I made the decision to look within, and I said, okay, no more running. It's time for me to step out of my comfort zone. It's time for me to conquer my fears. And that's when I decided to join Toastmasters. I reached out to my mentor, she encouraged me, and there I am today. And I can honestly say that this is actually the best decision that I made. One regret I have is not joining sooner. If I can go back, I would join a lot sooner. But my theory is nothing was going to time. So during the course of my time here at Toastmasters, I've seen tremendous growth. I've taken on opportunities where I've had to step out of my comfort zone, open up my mouth and speak. And if I'm honest, I thoroughly enjoy it. And I look forward to speaking to my speakers and delivering them to that. Thank you.
One time, please. Contestant number 6, that the yield for. Time is off 5 minutes on the clock, please. For the benefit of our guests until our next contestant gets here, table topics contest is where contestants receive a random question or phrase, and they have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to give an articulated and structured speech in that amount of time. Contestants have no knowledge or no prior experience with the question, and everything is impromptu. Here we will now have our next contestants, Tamara Evans. Tamara Evans, tell us about a time you ran towards something instead of away from it. Tell us about a time you ran towards something instead of away from it. Tamara Evans.
The contest chairman, fellow Toastmasters, esteemed guest. A time when I ran towards something and did not run away from it. Picture this, having a 4-year-old boy in your lap, and the psychologist tells you your son has autism spectrum disorder. Your husband was not with you at the time. He was running late. You were nervous. Your mind went in 500 different places. You took a breath. You looked at that little boy and you gave him the assurance that as his mother, you are going to do everything in your power to give him a life that is most normal, most productive for him. It wasn't easy getting that diagnosis. It meant that things would be different. That little boy had 2 older sisters, just 9 and 10 years old. There was a family of busyness. There was a lot going on. A husband who was running with his career. But we made a decision as a family
that we were going to take this journey with our son together. Today, that 4-year-old boy is a 15-year-old thriving young man. Yes, he's had his challenges. Yes, we had to fight for him in various spaces, but we made it through. And we did it as a family together. So no matter what your situation may be tonight, whatever you face, go after it with courage. Set your mind to do it as a family together, and you will see great results. Mr. Contest Chair.
We'll have 1 minute while I judge assign their ballots. Thank you to all of our contestants. Please remain silent until I announce the chief judge has left the room. Judges, please complete your ranking of contestants. Print your name and sign the bottom of your ballot. Make sure you have one name for first, second, and third place, and submit your ballot to the ballot counters as instructed to do so in the judge's briefing. Ballot counters, please remain in this room until you complete all ballots assigned to you, then exit to the chief judge's room. Timers, please give your timing sheets to the chief judge as instructed during the contest briefing.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So let's give our contestants a round of applause. Toastmaster Science, can you tell us about your preparation for the table topics contest this evening?
So, I attended a meeting yesterday that we had, and I watched a few preparation videos on.
Toastmasters, one you carry. You mentioned that the journey of Toastmasters allowed you to step into uncomfortable situations, but you realized you liked it. Can you tell us of one specific time when you realized the table topic sessions actually helped you in your personal or professional life? Toastmaster Martin Archer spoke about running headfirst into any obstacle. Tell us about a time you actually ran away from an obstacle.
Thank you so much for that question, Mr. President. I would have to think of a time that I actually ran away, because I really don't run away. I don't have the opportunity to run away. Being a single mom with 4 kids and 2 grandkids, they depend on me. So I have to run into it and get it at all costs. Because I made a commitment to myself that my children and my children's children, they shall all be great. And I'm grateful tonight to say that we have won, like we have overcome. Like I've got some pretty amazing kids. They're men and women now, but I've heard that they'll always be my kids, right? I've got a doctor, I've got a lawyer, I've got my grandsons who are aspiring to be doctors and engineers and all these amazing things. And that's because I always run into it and never ever run away from it.
Toastmaster Tatiana Bristol, you mentioned that you were nervous. Now, after the table topics contest, do you plan on actually competing again next year?
I recently just spoke to them outside before I came in, and I would like to say that I will monitor my progression and I will make that decision.
Toastmaster Pearson, in your preparation for the table topics contest, what would you say has been the hardest thing to anticipate?
would say the hardest thing to anticipate would be the anxiety that you feel when you walk in the room. Because there's many other things that you can anticipate. You can anticipate the different type of questions that they could ask. You could watch a million Toastmaster videos. You could feel confident in speaking to persons one-on-one, or even inside the club in an intimate setting. But that anxiety that you feel when you walk inside the room and you expect it to come everybody's meeting to hear what you have to say, I would say that was the hardest thing to anticipate. Because recently I've been more confident, but I felt a lot of anxiety as I walked in.
To our guest, Ms. Tony Culmo. What was your perception of the table topics contest before tonight? And what is your perception now that you've seen the contest style question and answers as well?
Good evening, Toastmasters and Chief Guest. I've seen several of the table topics competitions, and I've seen several table topics evenings at 1600 as well as here. And as for the competition style, it was very intriguing. It was very informative. It was amazing. It's even more amazing now hearing how many people were nervous or had anxiety and the way they came off and spoke. I could not tell. I was blown away by the lessons that were involved. I was blown away by excellent responses as well as speech format responses. Being able to reply to a question that comes at you within seconds, be composed, know what you're going to talk about, structure it, have a quote and a message. I thought we were just being able to learn how to speak without arms and lungs. Yes. This was very enlightening, and it's amazing to be able to learn something new from each person at the time, and how they're able to time themselves, and again, not be nervous in front of a group of people. It was amazing. I'm blown away.
To our immediate past president, distinguished Toastmaster, Mr. Bindo. Tell us about a time when, tell us about your first time actually in table topics.
I'm gonna read for you that something. It's my very first time talking to the table topic contact. They asked the question, then we forgot. I had nothing to say. I actually heard it. But I did not say a full sentence for the whole time. And I was fumbling to get that one sentence out. So Tatiana, this being your first time, I was amazed how you gave a whole complete story.
Yeah.
When I did it for my very first time, all I could remember was
Well, those are the bottom of the guests. Now it's time for the evaluation contest. At this time, please help me recognize more person payments and dignitaries in the room. We have our past president, distinguished Toastmaster Mr. Bindo. We also have distinguished Toastmaster Sherman Evans in the room as our guest. Now, please help me welcome our chief judge again, distinguished Toastmaster Esther Gondura. I'll be providing. Good evening again. The evaluation contest follows all rules outlined in the general rules of the section of the current Toastmasters International speech from rules. It has been confirmed that all contestants are eligible and have been briefed. All judges have been briefed and are qualified to judge this contest. Contestants will be sequestered before presenting, but may stay in the contest room after their evaluation.
The sergeant at arms is instructed to allow no one in or out of the room once the contest has begun until the contestants have spoken. Until the last contestant has spoken. Protests and disqualifications. Protests are limited to eligibility and must only be lodged by voting judges and or contestants. Any protest must be lodged with the chief judge and or the contest chair prior to the contest being adjourned. Chief judge, contest chair, voting judges, and contestants must not consider protests from audience members. The contest chair can disqualify a contestant on the basis of eligibility. All decisions of the voting judges and qualifying judges are final. When introducing a contestant, the contest master will give the contestant's name twice, which will be the contestant's signal to begin. The time of the evaluations is 2 to 3 minutes. Any contestant speaking less than 1 minute and 30 seconds or more than 3 minutes and 30 seconds will be disqualified. The timing cards or timing light is shown as follows. Timer, please show the timing light and give the sequence. Green at 2 minutes, yellow at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and red at 3 minutes. This will stay off until the contestant has finished speaking. No notice shall be given should the contestant go over time. Timing starts with the first word uttered or when the contestant uses any form of verbal or non-verbal communication with the audience. There will be 1 minute of silence for contestants while the judges complete their ballots. Between contestants. Contestants will listen to a test speech and then will be escorted to a separate waiting room by the sergeant at arms. Once their number is called, they will have 1 minute to return to the contest room and be acknowledged by the contest master. Contest master, let the contest begin.
Thank you, Chief Judge Congra. Contestants have already drawn their speaking positions. The speaking order is Toastmaster Cynthia Miller as our first contestant, and our second contestant will be Toastmaster Madeline Archer. Our first contestant again is Toastmaster Cynthia Miller, and our second contestant is Toastmaster Madeline Archer. We will have a test speaker who will present a 5 to 7 minute speech that all the contestants will evaluate. When the test speaker finishes, Sergeant at Arms will escort all contestants to the meeting room where they will have 5 minutes to complete their evaluations. At the end of the 5 minutes, the Sergeant at Arms will collect everyone's notes except those of the first contestants and will escort the first contestants back into the contest room. At the conclusion of each contestant's presentation, there will be 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots, during which the next contestants will be sent to the contest room. Now, ready? At this time, please welcome our guest speaker, Toastmaster. At the conclusion of each contestant presentation, there will be 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Please help me welcome our guest speaker, Toastmaster Harold Munnings III.
Since we've all been here before, stepping out of the barber shop with a clean shave up, alcohol still burning, and all of a sudden we have all kinds of errands to run. Ladies, scalp might be tender. That 30-inch middle part busts down is when everything is supposed to be doing. Those moments, your voice says, y'all better talk to me nicely. Have the self-confidence. We know we look good, and nothing anyone does or says can change that. But what about when life gets tough? That same voice that used to hype you up can turn critical in instants. You have to learn to face that voice instead of fear it. It's contest. It was senior boys versus teacher soccer match at Queen's College, and Mr. Jones had just passed the last event. Now, it was just a young Harold Munnings Jr. that stood between him and the goal. Harold slid in for the tackle, knocked the ball away, but landed on the ground with his arm twisted, and Mr. Jones landed on top of it, breaking it. A car was brought onto the field, and Harold was taken to the hospital and spent 3 days there as a patient. But by the time he left, he knew he was doing so as a future doctor. I never had that kind of certainty in my life's purpose. When I graduated high school, all of a sudden it seemed like that was the only thing people wanted to know about me. What was I going to do with the rest of my life? Whenever I got asked that question, it would immediately ruin my day. There are only 3 correct answers to this question in bonds: a doctor, a lawyer, or an accountant. While my parents never pressured me into any one field, they didn't have to. One's a doctor, one's an accountant. People assumed I followed the scripts. And whenever I gave an answer outside of their expectations, I could feel the pause, eyebrow raise, quiet judgment. That kind of pressure can wear you down, make you second guess yourself and wonder if what you want is really enough. I'd always been interested in the different ways you can make money. So even though I wasn't exactly sure how I do it, I decided to apply to business school. One day, one Sunday morning at my church's coffee hour, I heard my dad call me over to talk to his friends. It's only a matter of time before, "Little Harry, you going to be a doctor like your dad?" I told him no. I'm going to business school, and I decided to major in management. My dad joked, "What? So you could be a manager?" "No, man, you need to be the boss. You need to go to school to be a doctor, lawyer, or an accountant." And they all laughed. I'll never forget this interaction, because it was the first domino in a series of interactions that didn't feel like mine, but I made them anyway. All because I let my inner voice start to reflect their expectations. And because I was afraid to face that pressure, I adapted by embracing it. Instead of standing up for myself, I started to silently agree. I told them what they wanted to hear. When I got to college, I swapped my finance and accounting classes for biology and chemistry classes. I spent the next 3 years on the pre-med track. Live to please people long enough, and you lose yourself. Then comes the fear, worse, not failing others, but failing yourself. Before I knew it, I was in deep. After pushing through classes like organic chemistry and genetics, classes specifically designed to weed out people who aren't sure they want to be doctors, I felt trapped. Deep down, I knew I wasn't interested in what I was studying or where it was taking me. But I beat myself up for allowing those thoughts to even enter my mind. You're fine, you're just being lazy. I was afraid to break the illusion that maybe this isn't what I want to do. This meant there was only one choice. That's right, double down. I joined research labs to discover new species of moths. I set my computer wallpaper to my dream medical school. I even tried to join a pre-med fraternity. The breaking point came when I discovered investing. Immediately I was hooked. I could only look from a distance at the finance courses I had once been about to take. At the same time, the friends who I started school with were preparing for exciting internships at companies like Amazon, JP Morgan, and the NBA. I think it was my jealousy of their joy that forced me to finally confront myself. I realized if I continued along this path, there was none of that for me. Beating up myself had gotten me to this point. I was done. If you wouldn't let someone else tear you down, why should you accept that from yourself? My new rule for that inner voice was simple. Think of that feeling after that shape up. Talk to me nicely, or don't talk at all. I switched to a finance major. When my science credits didn't count, I told myself it's okay that I changed my mind. I had to take intro classes. I reminded myself comparison is a thief of joy. Changing my inner voice made all the difference because you can't win if you're at war with yourself. For the past decade, I've kept a journal of daily tasks, monthly goals, and quotes that inspire me. And back in 2017, I wrote down this quote from Bahamian psychologist Dr. David Allen. The goal cannot be to win acceptance from others, but rather to be true to our convictions. When I read that now, I just smile because that's exactly what my struggle was. It wasn't an overnight change, but I was learning to stop chasing others' approval and start granting it to myself. Talking to myself nicely doesn't mean I stopped holding myself accountable. It means I stopped holding myself hostage. Because when you defy that inner voice trying to hold you down, growth becomes inevitable. I used to fear disappointing people. Then I feared disappointing myself. I learned real danger is abandoning your own voice. So today, I protect that voice, and that voice protects my peace. Mr. College.
Now, Lieutenant Sergeant at Arms. Yeah, Master Harold Williams. This is the first time being tested in a contest. Let us know, how did you prepare for this job? What was your thoughts during the job, and now what's your thoughts after giving the testing?
Thank you for that question, Mr. Contest Jack. Preparing for this role as a therapy was unique, I think. This is a speech I prepared previously, and a story I'm familiar with, and a story I enjoy telling. The first time I had to deliver this speech, I was being judged on it on various different criteria. This time, I thought I needed to take a different approach, since my role is simply the test speaker. I thought it was important to deliver this speech more clearly, more relatably, to give the evaluators something more of a blank canvas to evaluate. So I just went over the speech a few times, made myself comfortable with it, and delivered it. So,
To our guests, Tate. Our guest on the bench being contested next year. And if so, which contest do you see yourself competing in?
Well, Your Honor. Myself, in competition, I will feel, I say how, I think about any competition I feel uncomfortable with. What would I just
So you took the words of Marshall, right direction, anything.
well, you know, the safety precautions, but.
Think we can find a super smart answer next year.
I will get that and come with it. I appreciate it.
That's good enough. Toastmaster, the assignments. Do you plan on meeting next year?
Good night, Masters. Yes, I do. I actually wanted to compete this year, but Doctor's orders, I need to keep it a little chill. I'm really excited as Lady White said, this is my first year actually being and seeing the competition firsthand. And table doctors is like table talking steroids for me. Because that's one of the hardest parts for me. It's always been my fear since I've been coming. To not hear my name and to breathe after table talking is over. It's one of the things I always go through every meeting. So seeing it and seeing how everybody did it so well. And like just like Tate said, people are the one that he felt was more afraid of. That's what I was thinking sitting here. I wanna be able to go to table topics competition next year and like we like to say, shell down the place. Thank you.
Yes, to the guest. Yeah, I come to the Toastmaster meeting and think we're gonna get away without not saying anything. But before we get our guest list, I want to remind everyone that we have refreshments in the marketing room. We have chips, we have drinks, we have wine. All of these things are available, and we have these things every week. So we have jokes, we have things, and we have food. We have a reason to come every week to Table Revolutionary. To our guest, Angela McKenzie. What is your thought of our contest night?
Good night, everyone. I can honestly say I am thoroughly enjoying the contest competition. I feel all of the speakers so far have been exceptional, very well prepared. Obviously, the club is developing a natural gift that's within them and providing the opportunity to continue to personally develop and build on the skills that they currently have.
To our guest, Ashley Ferguson. Which contest, well, you see one contest. Do you think that you can give at least a 1 minute presentation now that you've seen others come up, nervous or not, and still do a presentation? Yes.
But I can give a competition of the I definitely think that's something.
I think when did you not try? It is a leading question. Yes, for me, yes, now. Was something right. Anton Francis. Tell us about you.
See that question? Even everybody. Like all came at 8 a.m. this morning. And so my day has been uplift, backwards that type of thing. For those who were here on us, like you know about the 24/7 shift that we do. So we tend to you don't necessarily have a sleep schedule per se. So you probably operate for less hours, but you can still maximize the day. And so I can do multiple things. So you want to miss out on certain hours. So my day has been four. And then now we are.
So, David Toastmaster, Sherman Evans. You've been a part of Toastmasters for a while, even the highest status is distinguished Toastmaster. Tell us about your favorite moments as a Toastmaster.
In fact, I've been a Toastmaster in 2009. Then I got Toastmasters program. In fact, the Toastmasters program is so beautiful. I love everything about my Toastmasters. In fact, when I joined, I actually was on the program for 2 years every night. I always walked to the speech in my back pocket, or I used to walk to the president or ask the VP, anyone friend? Anyone showing up? Please put me on the program. And I rushed to the program and say, someone is not coming. I say, okay, I'll speak. When I walk to the door, I say, Toastmaster, I'm ready to roll. But one of the things last night I learned doing Toastmasters was something from distinguished Toastmaster and Carrie. I remember we were practicing outside the door, and he stopped me and said, "What the hell are you doing?" I said that I am practicing. He said that you're practicing. Why are you doing this? This is a bad habit. I said, don't think it's a bad habit. I said, we need to get ready. He said that if you have the come here, that you have to practice to be ready, then you're not ready. He said that Toastmaster always is ready. He said that you are ready long before you walk through the door. I can't think that was the best thing. So I just really good advice for all of those seasoned Toastmasters. So I would encourage person, find a seasoned Toastmaster. Let them take you through their journey and we can learn from them. And that's how you go around the program works.
Is always ready. Yeah. We will now have the first contestants, Sandia Miller. Contestant number one, Sandia Miller. Contestant number one, Sandia Miller.
Hello, Toastmasters. Mr. Mannings. Carl Mannings, third. A powerful name, third generation. You came to the lectern prepared, obviously, to attend a Toastmaster speaking contest. This is evident in your dress and your calm disposition as you approach the lectern. You were aware of your audience. This is evident by your clever, catchy remark in the beginning regarding that middle part and that bust down 30 inches, I believe. This appealed to the ladies and even gave them the chuckle. From that very moment, you had your audience's attention and you kept it throughout your speech. You used your gestures adequately. It also lent to the engagement of your audience and lent to your speech. Mr. Mannings, your vocal variety was adequate. You paused where necessary. I was particularly intrigued by your storytelling. Excellent strategy. You know your story better than anyone. why not tell it? You took us from the beginning and you gave us, your family's professional history. You said that there was a lawyer, an accountant, and you said that in Bahamian culture, those careers are preferred. You walked us through. You told us that you didn't desire that, but felt pressured in a sense to do so, since it was your family history. You continued to tell us your story and that you actually went against your gut feeling and pursued such a career. You did things to convince yourself that this is natural. You put up your wallpaper to remind yourself that this is what I'm going to do. But you found the courage to change your major. You went and pursued the career you wanted to. You found your boldness, you found your voice. You told us that to live to please people long enough, you will lose yourself. You indicated that you decided to do something for you. If there was anything I would caution you to do, is to elevate your voice. Other than that, I think you used your lectern, but just go into the crowd a little bit more and engage them some more. Mr. Muddings, very well presented tonight. Mr. Chair.
May we have 1 minute of silence while our judges mark their ballots. Panel, please give me a red signal at 1 minute. We will now have our second contestant, Madeline Archer. Second contestant, Sergeant Madeline Archer. Contestant number 2, Madeline Archer. So, Madeline Archer.
Evening, Mr. Contest Chair. Evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. How's everybody feeling? Wonderful, wonderful. Toastmaster, how are you, sir? How are everybody doing? How are you? Fantastic. What do you do for a living? Oh, investment management. That's awesome. I truly enjoyed your speech tonight. I love the fact that you did it your way. And that is so important. Because a lot of times as parents, we want our kids to do what we want them to do. We have this blueprint or this path laid out for them. And sometimes we fall in our parents' footsteps or we do what they want us to do. And we never have an opportunity to do what we live our lives with regret. But it takes a strong person to pivot and go and do what it is that they want to do, what they want to do, right? I want to commend you for that because that's awesome. You know, a lot of us can take away from your speech tonight. I also want to know what ended up happening to the guy with the broke now. But all in all, I think you did a really great job. I would encourage you to use the space more. You're a handsome young man. good looking. We come to hear what you have to say. We got dressed and we came here anticipating your speech. Because we know you can do it, you're a Toastmaster. You're born for this. Also, your voice modulation. Cool down. Let us know what you hear. Draw us in and put us more or less in a chokehold what you hear. Then when we leave here, we'd say, Toastmaster Monix, I can't wait for him to get back to the lecture again because he did such an outstanding job because you're that good. I personally feel like your speech was encouraging for me. I loved it. I love the fact that you're able to take the bull by the horn and say, yeah, I want that. This is working for me. Let me go over here in an area where I know I can thrive. So I want to congratulate you for that. And I would just love to see you at the lecture again. I look forward to hearing you speak again. I look forward to your growth. One day you'll be coming up to stage. All right.
1 minute, talk panel.
We get there.
Now, silence while our judges finalize their ballots. Judges at this time, please complete the ranking of contestants. Print your name and sign at the bottom of your ballots. Make sure you have 1 name. 1 name to spell. Read the ballot in ballot counters as instructed by the chief judge's briefing. Ballot counters, please remain in this room until you receive all ballots assigned to you and exit to the chief judge's room. Timers, please give your timing sheets to the chief judge as instructed during the briefing. Toastmasters and Nia Miller, how did you prepare for the evaluations contest? And what is your first general thought of this being your first evaluation contest?
actually my second evaluation contest. The first time I did it, I was equally as afraid as tonight. However, I did it anyway. And a phrase that myself and my mentor typically joke about. Do it scared, do it anyway. I prepared, obviously taking notes of what I fell short of doing the last time. I attended the meetings that was put on by our club president for Paris this very night. I took tips, I reviewed the presentation, and I hope that it would serve me well.
Toastmaster Archer, do it scared, do it anyway, run straight ahead into the problem. How was your experience with this being your first contest, your first table talks contest, and this contest?
Is exactly what it is. Not so much for the table topics, but for the evaluation. So I was on both Zoom calls. So got some takeaways. I went back into my memory bank of seeing other evaluations done here in weekly meetings. And I just built on that. And I was excited to do it, and I'm here and I'm happy to do it. Thank you.
To our guests, Naomi, video. Give us your evaluation of the contest night so far.
Claxton, it's a pleasure being here with all of it. My third meeting of it, and absolutely amazing time. It's always refreshing and enjoy it here. In regards to the competition, it's been once, as I said, super refreshing. Always something I learned. I love the variations of speakers. I also enjoy learning a little bit more about the contest speakers as well. Super excited to see how they speak, how to use rooms. I especially enjoy the nominations. I think I've been before to take tips. I'm super excited to see my future Toastmasters. And I'm super excited. Yes.
If there was one song that would describe your life, what would this song be? Or what genre would this song be? Distinguished Toastmaster, go on for that.
Mr. Contest Chair, you happen to know me quite well, so you would know that song would be from the Rat Pack. It would be Frank Sinatra. And those of you who know me know I'm a little bullish. And therefore the song has to be My Way. In fact, if you would pick up the phone right now and call my wife, she would tell you that my homecoming, should I, and my sons know this too. My homecoming, we will play If Beyond Your Head is Leaving, Frank Sinatra's I Did It My Way. What is the matter if he am? That's what I've lived, that's what I've practiced. Sometimes I've been punished for it, but I'm okay with that because I sleep with me and I sleep alone, so to speak. So, my way, Mr. Contest Chair.
Get it this way. And now we will have our last contest, our international speech contest. The purpose of the international speech contest provide an opportunity to learn by observing from proficient speakers who have benefited from their Toastmaster training. And we recognize the best as an encouragement to all. Please welcome our judge once more, distinguished Toastmaster Ernesto Lundberg, provide a brief overview of the rules for the international speech contest. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
The international speech contest follows all rules outlined in the general rules section of the current Toastmasters rulebook. And it has been confirmed that all contestants are eligible and have been briefed, and all judges have been briefed and qualified to judge this contest. Contestants may remain in the contest room throughout the contest. And Sergeant at Arms is instructed to allow no one in or out of the room once the contest has begun, until the last contestant has spoken. Protests and disqualifications. 25% or less of the speech may be devoted to quoting, paraphrasing, referencing another person's content. Any quoted, paraphrased, or referenced content must be identified during the speech presentation. Contestants who reference another contestant's speech or another speech contestant will be disqualified. Protests are limited to eligibility, originality, and reference to another contestant or another contestant's speech, and must be only lodged by voting judges or contestants. Any protest must be lodged with the chief judge and or contest chair prior to the contest being adjourned. The chief judge, contest chair, voting judges, and contestants must not consider protests from audience members. Before a contestant can be disqualified on the basis of originality or for referencing another contestant's speech, the contestant must be given an opportunity to respond to the voting judges. A majority of the voting judges must concur in the decision of disqualifying. The contest chair can disqualify a contestant on the basis of eligibility. All decisions of the voting judges and qualifying judges are final. When introducing a contestant, the contest master will give the contestant's name, speech title again, and their name again. This will be the contestant's signal to begin speaking. The time of the speeches is 5 to 7 minutes. Any contestant speaking less than 4 minutes and 30 seconds or more than 7 minutes and 30 seconds will be disqualified. The timer will show the signals as follows. Timer, please show the timing card or the timing light in this sequence. Green for 5 minutes, yellow at 6 minutes, and red at 7 minutes. The red will stay on until the contestant has finished speaking. No notice shall be given should a contestant go over time. Timing starts with the first word uttered or when the contestant uses any form of verbal or non-verbal communication with the audience. There will be 1 minute of silence between contestants while the judges complete their ballots. Contest master, let the contest begin.
Thank you, Chief Judge Gomera. The contestants have already brought their speaking positions. Speaking order is contestant number 1, Toastmaster Charles Rose. Contestant number 2, Toastmaster Alex Pearson. Contestant number 1, Toastmaster Charles Rose. Contestant number 2, Toastmaster Alex Pearson. Charles Rose, it's okay. It's okay, Charles Rose.
In life, you get two options. You either win or you lose. All of us know what to do when we win. But what do you do when you lose? What do you do when you don't go far enough? What do you do when you fail, Mr. Contest Chair? For a long time, I didn't even know. So you see, failure is one of those things you either have to learn from someone else or something else, even though all of us go through it. How we deal with failure can differ totally. For all of us, that lesson has to come at one point, though. For me, that lesson came in my early 20s, when I was a graduate student at the Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. I was studying mathematics and statistics, and yes, it was fun. I was studying numbers, what to do with them, what they can do for me, how much money I can make with them. I was having so much fun. My 2-year program asked me to leave 1 year early. Yeah, didn't see that coming. But that was one of my biggest tastes of failure. My other example would be when my dad told me he wasn't buying me any more pairs of glasses when I was 11. But, you know, you're 11, you're growing, you're irresponsible, his word, not mine. But, you know, you're learning. But that time was a bit different. Where I could have come back from that failure with some tape, some frames, a dream. Grad school was a bit different. Grad school shook me to my core in a way nothing else could, because it actually got to my identity. My identity was broken after that. How would I come back from that? I didn't know. I was young. But you know what? I was down, but I wasn't out. From that time, I learned 3 important lessons. The first, you need a plan. The second, you need support. And the third lesson, if anything, the most important lesson, it's okay. And you know what? It is okay. Let me regale you of the 3 lessons I learned from the biggest failure in my life. The first, you need a plan. And yes, I did plan this out. That was, the thing about plans is they're very important for success. Go figure. You always need a plan to succeed, because a plan is what keeps you focused. A plan is what keeps you driving towards your goal. You always need a plan. Fun fact, every action should have a purpose. I know. Me in grad school, we didn't know that. But after that discovery, I started to plan my actions more intentionally. I found the power of intention. Because again, every action should have a purpose. After that, I learned how to actually sit back, gather my plan, and just put that plan in action. Because that plan is what will lead me to success. That was an important lesson with failure, because that's one of the best ways of dealing with failure. Gather your plan. Sometimes that plan needs other people. This brings me to my second point, gather support. Fun fact, we weren't meant to be on this planet alone. How many of us know the phrase, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together? Exactly. A lot of us would like to go fast, but all of us would like to go far. And the best way to get far is to go together. We need one another. That is the only way we'll make it forward. In fact, after that failure, that's the first lesson I had to learn. And I had to learn it quite in a very funny way. While I was packing up my apartment, a friend of mine, she was on the phone with me, and she politely said, "Buddy, you need to reach out to people when you need help." And you know what? She was right. Learning how to rely on people is one of the easiest ways to get yourself back from that failure, because it teaches you you're not alone. You can rely on somebody. You have someone to lean on, because there's always someone you can lean on. There is someone who you can walk with, someone who can bounce ideas off, and you can create your plan. We are not meant to be here alone. The only way we succeed is together. We learn from one another. That is how we get our plans together. That is how we come back from our failure. That is how we learn that it's okay to fail. And that's my final point, the most important point tonight, because that after learning that, the cage was open. The fear was gone. I was free, and I could do anything because I knew what it was to survive after the big failure. I knew what it was to survive after my identity was broken. I was freed from the fear of failure. Now I can do anything. After coming back from that fear, I started trying new things. I got into public speaking. I got into poetry. Don't ask me to rhyme right now. It's fine. But I learned to embrace the new. That is why failure can be one of life's greatest teachers. Becoming a grad school dropout was one of the best and the worst things that ever happened to me. But it taught me three very important lessons. One, you need support. Two, you need a plan. And finally, it's okay and you'll be okay. Mr. Gomes, let's share.
Now our contestant number 2, Alex Dean. What tricks are up their sleeve? What tricks are up their sleeve? Alex Dean.
Believe none that you hail, and only half that you speak. Edgar Allan Poe. My stepfather told me his version of this quote when I was just a little girl because of a magician and a wobbly pen. Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests, there I sat at just 7 years old when a magician at a friend's birthday party held out a pen. And with the flick of his wrist, he made the pen wobble like it was cello. Then, in the blink of an eye, he made the pen disappear. I was amazed. I jumped up and screamed, "Wow! Magic is real!" But midway through his second act, something fell out of his sleeve. It was the pen. I was devastated. I had been deceived. And when I went back home later that afternoon, my stepfather said something to me. He said, "Baby girl, believe none of what you hear, only half of what you see, because you never know what tricks are up someone's sleeve." And at just 7 years old, I couldn't really understand it then. I was still distraught about the musician, but life kept giving me examples. Fast forward to the 7th grade, and I was sitting in class when our teacher gave us a pop quiz. But it's okay, because my best friend and I had to buy some time. We were cheats. And I can only tell you this now because the statute of limitations is up. It was a multiple choice test, so she would give me all the answers she knew, and I would give her all the answers I knew. It was the perfect plan. Then the next day, the test results came back, and sure enough, she got an A plus. Fellow Toastmasters, and yes, can you guess what my grade was? I got a C minus. She had changed her answers after giving them to me.
Wow.
Once again, I was devastated. I had been deceived. And this was a year after my stepfather's passing, but I stopped to think what he said to me. And this time I want you all to say it after me. Believe none of what you hear.
Believe none of what you hear.
Only half of what you see.
Only half of what you see.
Because you never know
You never know
what tricks up someone's sleeve.
what tricks are up someone's sleeve.
But what my stepfather didn't tell me was that some magicians carry pens, others carry knives to stab you in your back. And I used discernment for the better part of my childhood. But by the time as I got off to college, magic had a new face. Social media. People use social media to display lives that are just an illusion. And a friend of mine dated this guy, and on social media, he was living lavish. I'm talking fancy cars, designer clothes, even private jets. But a few months into them dating, he started asking her for money. And she realized she was funding the same lifestyle that he was portraying on social media. So, as their relationship evidently plummeted, as she cried on my shoulder, I realized that she was devastated. She had been deceived. So I could only think to tell her what my stepfather told me. And say it after me again. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Because you never know what tricks are up someone's sleeve. So by the time as I got to 28 years old, you would think I'm a master at spotting deception from a mile away now, right? Then I met him. And when I met him, it was as if time stood still. When he walked into the room, he was the most dashing guy you'd ever meet. It was as if he was walking in slow motion. I was in raw. And at the time, I was in the middle of my hot girl summer. I mean, bikinis on yachts, trips with my best friends, and doing just enough of my business to get by. And he seemed to be into the same things as me. In fact, he even sponsored a few girls' trips. But a few months into the relationship, things started to take a turn. And he started actually requiring more from me. Investing in my business, becoming a business partner, encouraging me to join Toastmasters and use my voice. You see, he saw things in me that I didn't see in myself. So as I sat there on our wedding day and realized that I am now becoming a successful businesswoman, a speaker, a wife, I thought how this was the grand illusion. I had been deceived. So I thought back to what my stepfather told me. But I wish I could have gone back to tell him that I now fully understand that although some magicians carry pens, some carry knives, some carry lies and deception, some carry. So fellow Toastmasters and guests, if you're going to be an illusionist in someone's story, don't carry knives, carry flowers. And as you go through life, in friendships, in businesses, use your discernment, dot your I's, cross your T's, and always remember what my stepfather told me. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see, because you never know what tricks are up someone's sleeves.
That's not 1 minute on the clock. At this time, please complete your ranking of contestants, print your name and sign the bottom of your ballot. Make sure you have one name first, one name for second, and send a copy of your ballot to the ballot counters as instructed to do so in the judge's briefing. Ballot counters, please remain in the room until you've received all ballots assigned to you and exit to the chief judge's room. Timers, please give your timing sheets to the chief judge as instructed during the contest briefing.
Conversion.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's give a round of applause for all of our contestants. Mark, so Archer, let us know what your experience with this competition. How did you think you landed it, and what was your general perception of tonight?
Chairman, Toastmasters Affairs. This has been a very good experience for myself, critiquing the speeches and everyone is there. I am so honored to know that the Toastmaster preparing the future of the country. This is very important because we need young generation to now prepare themselves for the future and whatever endeavors they have their profession. It's just awesome to know that all of the contestants, everybody have done well. This is great.
Yeah.
And there is no failure, no mistakes, because that teaches us to prepare ourselves. Even in myself, I critique myself every day because my job carries that. And I have always been to learn from this environment. So to the Toastmasters and everybody, I encourage you all to continue so. And I am proud to know being here. Of course, for my wife, she has always been wanted to be a part of this kind of organization to prove herself. And she's awesome, and I'm here to support her. And I know she will do well, and the rest of your organization, and everybody else will do well. And I'm looking for the future of looking at this generation and time to come and say, hey, I remember each and every one of you.
Yeah.
So I congratulate this organization.
Toastmaster Charles Rose. What was your preparation like for this speech? And is it okay?
Thank you, Mr. Contest Chair. And you know what? It is okay. My preparation for this speech was a lot of trial and error. This was not the first draft of this speech, DTM Gade could tell you. But it was all about dedicating myself to the craft and making sure I had fun up there as I made this presentation. Because I knew once I made sure of that, this speech will be a success. I can bring life into this speech. And once I can do that, we'll get the message across. That's how, after that, and some deep thought, some heartfelt feelings, and a speech about the flat earth theory, I'm still gonna make that speech, just not here. But after that, I learned that it's okay. I got the message that it is okay. And once I got that, the words just fell out. Thank you for that question.
It has been said that persons can deceive with a pen, they can deceive with a knife, they can even deceive with social media. Given the current season that we're in the country, do you think that there are other ways that persons can be deceived?
Thank you, Mr. Contest Chair. I think there are many ways that people can be deceived. Someone can be deceived. You can deceive someone without even saying anything, just from your body language. And in wake of everything that I see on social media, everything that I see around me, I see people being deceived in many different ways. And I only had 5 to 7 minutes to give you examples from my life of deception. But if I had more time, I would be able to give you so much more examples. So yes, people can be deceived in many ways.
Let's give our fun. Let's have all of our table talks. We're on the stage, please. Yeah. Judge, On one side, or be on the other side. We have a. We may have to come to front of it. Take a picture. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to see the results. And as mentioned before, I would like to reiterate that everyone is a winner this evening, and that's coming up to the stage and presenting is a win in itself. Can I have a drum roll? For our table topics contest, in third place, we have Toastmaster Mara Evans. In second place, drum roll please. In second place, with 507,000. 1 minute points.
Doctor.
Saxon! Yes.
Oh, no.
Second place, we have Toastmaster Madeline Archer. And in first place, with 12,896 points.
Saxon, one family.
Toastmaster Alex Pearson. How are the results of our evaluation contest? We only have 2 contestants. In second place, your drum roll. Toastmaster. Madeline Archer. And in first place, who could it be? Toastmaster Sandio Miller. Now for our final contest, the prepared speech contest. In second place, we have Toastmaster Charles Roy. It's okay. In first place, the speech contest, Toastmaster Alex Pearson. What's that?
Technical difficulties.
That's the important. Congratulations to all of the contestants. However, this is just first step. Our winners of this evening's contest will go on to represent Cable Revolutionaries at the division after the area 63 contest, and then at the division level, which will be in the early Q1, which will be between January 14th to the end of February. Once again, I congratulate all of our contestants. I would also like to thank all other contest officials whose hard work and dedication helped make tonight's success. Our judges, our timers, our sergeant at arms, everyone who had a part in bringing together this meeting. Is there anyone in the room that hasn't spoken tonight? No one else? Oh, Toastmaster Tanya Miller, tell us about your experience this evening.
It was actually very, very nice. It was beautiful. I missed most of the tabletop actually, I recorded the last one. But I enjoyed listening to it. Her experience, her son. I enjoyed the evaluations very much. She did a little bit more than I should have. It was really nice. I learned a few things. From both. I learned a few things from both ladies. Some tips on how they adapt speech competition. They memorize that good stuff. I've not seen that one so far. No, everybody still knows the paper and stuff. So I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the evening very, very much.
So, to one of our judges. Actually, our judges are anonymous, so I won't reveal who these judges are. But fellow Toastmasters, yes, and I hope tonight has been an exciting evening. I hope to our guests you're able to see through the lens of a Toastmaster, see what you're training for. You not only compete in front of the stage, but you also take these things outside into the real world. Take these things on the job. Take these things in the traffic when someone cuts you off. You have to understand. Sometimes you can ask for restraint. Sometimes you only need 2 minutes to say what you want to say. But you learn all of these things in the Toastmasters experience. And I hope next year we're able to see all of our guests and we're able to see 10 times more contestants in each competition. So thank you all for coming out. Have a great day. We have fresh ones in the back.